I'm Jim Obold. I'm the Director of Financial Planning for Servant Solutions. The two questions we're going to cover today are how do pastors pay Social Security and should I opt out of Social Security, because most pastors have that option. First of all, let's talk about the dual status of pastors. Those that are ordained, licensed, or commissioned, and this is part of our compensation planning document at Servant Solutions, and it's a guide to assist church leaders for compensation planning. The IRS considers ministers to be employees, and the Social Security system considers ministers to be self-employed. So sometimes there's some confusion there. But Social Security taxes cannot be withheld from a minister's pay. It's illegal to do that. So how do they pay it? They have to pay quarterly taxes, or they have to over withhold and ask their employer to withhold more on the federal taxes, and that can cover those as well. But most pastors pay theirs by this form, which is IRS Form 1040-ES, and use coupons. That there's 4 of those in the back of the form that talk about estimated tax and their payment voucher 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you pay those throughout the year. Now, Social Security tax is 15.3%. It's quite a chunk. I know whenever I worked in secular employment at the bank, the employer paid 7.65%, which I did not have to worry about. And then I paid 7.65%, and that's called FICA taxes. Well, the minister pays what's called SECA taxes. Self-Employed Compensation Act is what that stands for. And what that means is they are responsible for paying their own Social Security. Now, because of that, 15.3% is quite a chunk. Out of every dollar, that's 15.3 cents. Many are given bad advice, in my opinion. They're told as soon as they get into a church by their lead pastor or a financial advisor or a CPA, hey, you have a great opportunity. Within 2 years of your employment of earning at least $400 or more, you can opt out of Social Security. And what that can do is save you that 15.3%. Now, that's true, but there's some caveats with that. And there are some cons to that as well. And one of the cons is that they should go on to say you should take that 15.3% and save it towards retirement, because many pastors do not. They feel like they don't make enough in their first ministry assignment, so they just pocket that money and use it for discretionary or debt and those type of other expenses. However, the time value of money is not on their side if they wait, and so they need to redirect that money. Some also say, hey, you can opt out of Social Security because really we don't know if it's going to be there or not. And I think that's a myth. I think Social Security will always be there. It has to be there. Most people will just get taxed more to support Social Security. It just hasn't kept up with the times, and it's a political football right now. Jeff Janess and I believe that we could fix Social Security in 5 easy tweaks and make it more sustainable than it is, but we believe it will always be there. So I don't think that's a viable excuse not to give to and pay taxes to Social Security. The other thing is Social Security is more than just retirement. It covers Medicare, which is one of the best healthcare packages around, and that's in retirement when you need it the most. And then also it has disability and death benefits along with the 15.3% that a minister pays. So you're giving up much more than just retirement benefits. You're giving up many of those other benefits. It's going to mean a lot by that time. If I asked a pastor that has opted out of Social Security whether they thought that was a good decision, by the time they are in retirement, they have always told me they wish they hadn't. And I think that that speaks a lot of truth to a lot of young pastors that are contemplating this decision. That if not one pastor has told me that they thought that was a good decision, then if I was a young pastor, I would take that I should not opt out of Social Security. Now, if you do decide after all that to opt out, there's a couple of things you need to keep in mind. Form 4361 states that you have to sign this form, and it has 2 statements on it. It says, and I'll read this verbatim, that I certify that I am conscientiously opposed to, or because of my religious principles, I am opposed to the acceptance of any public insurance that makes payments in the event of death, disability, old age, or retirement, or that makes payments toward the cost of or provides services for medical care. Now, I don't even know enough about socialized insurance or public insurance, and a lot of pastors do not either. So whenever I had this opportunity to opt out, whenever I became ordained 5 years ago, and I was fully vested in Social Security, I could have saved a lot of money. In my heart of hearts, I could not sign, and because of that very statement. And the other issue is that you have to. A second statement deals with that you have to certify with your state and also with the National Church of God. So this is not just a private decision. It will have to go to the state of your ordination. They will have to approve it, and then the National Church of God will have to approve it in Anderson. So I guess my overarching advice is that there's not a lot of folks that know enough about public insurance to opt out in their heart of hearts. And I think my decision to not opt out, and I think for many young pastors, will be honored by the Lord, even though it costs 15.3%. But I think that 15.3% goes to a lot of good things that a lot of young pastors will need in retirement. So just to conclude, religious principles cannot simply be the personal conviction that perhaps Social Security will not be there when you retire, or that a better retirement can be secured through other retirement savings. The belief must be an integral part of your system of religious beliefs and your theology. And what I know about the Church of God, I don't believe that that can be supported for a viable excuse to opt out of Social Security. So thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call here at Servant Solutions to discuss your individual situation. Thank you very much.